I won't say can be, it is achieved in many ways, that is being carbon negative, not even carbon neutral. The way I have studied the patenting landscape globally, and particularly um, the device landscape, rather than the solar, we have to focus anything and everything on electricity. If you see and understand what happened in US and other countries is, or what the blockchain is illustrate in the best possible format is, they book an Airbnb in any of the countries, and especially in US. They give a charge, that is an X charge, but in many ways they use and consume a lot of electricity because they're using those devices which is consuming a lot of electricity for the mining purpose. However, in the carbon negative state, India is more of a creator in the good sense. I'm not talking about the bad actors, I'm talking about the good actors. For the control, we only need good actors. Actors doesn't mean actors in terms of actors, the Bollywood actors. No, they're not part of this protocol. Intellectual good actor can be a person who is 95 years old, who has understanding of the subject, because intellect is all to do with intelligence, and intelligence is the real intel. We are not looking for fake colleges or fake degrees or people who come from X family or Y family. According to the calculations and everything, at least the best matter of fact is deploying computing for the Supreme Court of India to start with. And once the control is there, that can be deployed everywhere in India through one vendor, and that is us. Because when I say us, that could be in collaboration with the companies, the best of the companies, where we are getting customization done. I had a chance today to have a conversation with a marketing executive of one of the companies based out in Chennai. And somehow, over the years, I have seen Chennai based people are really good with the work. Same, for that matter, is Kolkata in terms of the intelligence. So, the devices and everything, the way I'm thinking, it might change at some point, would be collaboration of everything under the ITO and the WTOs and the different treaties we are part of. We have to raise the energy efficiency. We have to raise the energy efficiency of the appliances. We have to raise the energy efficiency of the industrial energy. We have to raise the building energy efficiency. India aka Bharat mandates the energy efficiency level for appliances such as aircon. Aircon is basically an air conditioner, basically something which takes the hot air, cools it, and returns back to the room. Refrigerators, televisions. I remember talking about Samsung versus Hitachi. Hitachi is better, or Samsung is better. Mm, that was another aspect. I think that video is there. Uh, and another brand is there. I haven't used it yet, so I can't comment on that. I'm getting another brand, which is again customized in China, because a lot of patents have expired. Um, and since a lot of patents have expired, we are free to use those kind of tech, and any expired kind of technology can be deployed. What about the other stuff that has to be discussed? I think that has to be discussed with the best of the people, and the Niti Ayogs of India has to re-enter and understand the reality, because they have to work with the Indian pattern agents. They are the most intelligent beings. Although I'm the misfit of the Indian pattern agent industry, but the others, if they are the fit people for the Indian patenting stuff, they should be working with the Niti Ayogs. And I'm of the opinion they should be getting a salary rather than, um, Right now, an Indian patent agent with anywhere with 10 plus years of experience is able to get CTC of 40 lakhs, 30 lakhs, um, which is a good amount. It is equivalent to someone, I mean, the best of the CTCs in India for the industries is quite low. But in the patenting, there are few folks who are, I'm not talking about the owners, I'm just talking about the companies where the CTC itself is 30, 40, 50. In many cases, you might see 60 also, because you can always look into, it's very easy. What you need to do is you need to take out the patent agent numbers and see what kind of income tax they have filed, including mine. So that data is there, and that can be taken as an input data, as where, because I'm paying so much GST, I have all my GST bills. I mean, at any given point of time, I don't buy things, or I don't even go to a shop where GST is not being provided, because um, the indirect taxes is too much in India. Now, how to develop the renewable energy in India? See, we have this Deccan Plateau. We have, the best thing about India from the geographical point of view. I'm now going back to my SST lessons. Somewhere I read that from 1996 to 2000. Very fortunate. I think the teachers were wonderful in terms of at least explaining me that, and making sure that I do what is needed when the time is right. Um, so the point is, there used to be colored India map and non-colored India map, and India is just above the equator. If I have to go into the data set and see how much above the sea level, so you see the equator, and if you see the land, forget the name India for this discussion. So when you forget India, just take it as a land, and if you see it's just above the equator. And I'm of the viewpoint that Sri Lanka and India at one point of time they were um, they were one piece of land. It's just because of the tussle and the wars and whatnot happened in that era, um, it became kind of a different structure altogether. Because when I went to China, I was in China for the longest time. At this point, from this date to X date, for a few years I was in China, and I read about the history. China, obviously, they have a rich history, no question about it. Um, but this place, the blockchain place, is basically the place where, in the historical data set, it said that when the tough happened between the mantles of the during the earthquake, the piece of land from the Europe, it comes and joins this part, and that is why Guang is the blockchain place. The place is amazing. I mean, uh, the second year I went, I thought, like, the first year it was not cold enough, and the second year, same time when I go, I had to, because I was feeling so cold. Generally, I don't feel cold, so you can understand. I don't even remember what was the uh, temperature, because it was 2019, and I was not carrying the coats and all. I thought it's like the summer of last year kind of stuff. Um, what is important here is to understand the impact that weather conditions globally are changing. But at the same point of time, we have to be developing India as a data set for control. And for the control to happen, we have to go carbon negative. And for carbon negative to happen, we have to increase the efficiency of solar, wind, hydropower, nuclear, and we need to promote energy storage technologies. India is actively promoting the adoption of battery energy storage system, that is BESS. So BESS stands for battery energy storage system, and there's something called as PSP. P stands for pump storage power stations, and providing financial incentives and accelerating the approval processes to facilitate the infra. So if we do this, we don't need the concept of smart city. Smart city per se, the word itself is wrong. We have to rename this, because here we have to make the humans first behave with the common sense. We talked about Homo sapiens sapiens being three type of actors. One is obviously bad, good, neutral, but the common sense thing is missing in most of the folks. Um, so what needs to be done is the first data set. Forget India. Just take the data set of the Indian patent agents, not the UPSC aspirants and not the IPS and blah blah blah. Just the data set of the Indian patent agents. Look into it. Look into the people who even died. I mean, in lockdown, also few of the folks have died because obviously, when money starts pouring in like water for few of the folks, that money uh, changes into drinking habits, and unfortunately, not everybody is able to use the money in the right possible way. Another very good stuff from Starbucks. It comes from China. Thank you, China, for this. I think this is really one of the uh, cherished items, at least for 2025. I think. Thank you so much. So I got it recently. Um, so we talked about this. We'll talk about. It's already 11 minutes. I'll try and figure it out in the next 5 minutes. Try to push in more data sets so that it's able to do a wonderful job. So we can have the control by September, I believe. And I think since India is already three, we can be number one, and we don't have to use this Nvidias and all these, the patent pending technologies, um, because all these when something is patented, you have to pay an extra fees. So try using tech, especially for the devices where the patent stuff is gone. And font and all, these are all nonsense stuff. We can always obviate it by the bilateral agreements, because instead of that, we can provide with spices. India is very good with spices. India is um, very good with steel. India is very good with other aspects also. There's a lot of geographical indication. There's a lot of, the design. Even what I'm wearing, it's like a good stuff. So we have a lot of homegrown brands in India. Even if we don't have a trademark, doesn't matter. It can just go by the star name of made in India, if that suffices the purpose of the businesses. Because if Mark and Spencer wants to just promote made in India, so why not? I mean, this particular brand, and I have already communicated to the authorities what brand I'm wearing right now. It's made in India, and if they want this to be under Mark and Spencer, go for it. I mean, I can vouch for it. I don't vouch for brands generally. You won't see me talking about brands. Maybe I'm using the brands because of my own reasons, but I can vouch for this particular brand. I have already communicated to my company that this can be part of Mark and Spencer, because Mark and Spencer has a lot of good made in India stuff also. But so made in India is not only X state. Make in India has to the industrial sector to transition from the traditional hydrogen to low carbon hydrogen. Industries such as fertilizers, chemicals, and refineries. The government has launched the initiative, which is NGHM, that is National Green Hydrogen Mission, allocating 187.44 billion rupees. That is approx 24.524 billion USDs. That is USD, here stands for US dollars. It can be equivalent to USDT also. So people who have any kind of cryptocurrency with them, please convert it into USDT. I think that way even the Indian government will be able to appreciate and let people bring back the money, because right now there's a lot of cryptocurrency which is outside India, and to bring back that USDT and getting into the circular economy. Circular economy is like giving back to the society in a way where the circle, it's the kind of a cycle which has to pass on, and that's a good way of doing it. And this mission, of which 84.44 billion rupees would be utilized for electrolyzer installations, and the remaining 103 billion Indian rupees for green hydrogen production between this year itself. So we are on the timeline 2025-26 and between 29 to 30. So we have the SDG goals 2025, and we have some SDG goals by 2030 also. But for the control, I'm pretty sure we can have this control where we don't utilize any of these patents. They can fight their rights in US. We don't need their patents in any ways, because anything which is high energy consuming, we don't need that. We can just get it done by our Asian relationships. The central and the state government has introduced green hydrogen policies offering financial incentives, including capital subsidies, reduced electricity and water fees, and land use benefits to attract investment. Okay, so to strengthen, I'd like to just complete it as soon as possible. Okay, strengthening grid transmission and distribution efficiency. So India is upgrading its power transmission and distribution infra to reduce the transmission losses. So from the fiscal year or the financial year 16, that is 2016 to 2025, the country emission lines grew at a compound annual growth rate, that is CG, CAGR of 4.19%. Because in my head, I was working on one of the patterns, and like there's some interlinking or cross sectioning. Anyhow, with the substation capacity expanded at a CAGP of 8.18 percentage. Additionally, India is actively promoting smart grid technologies to enhance grid intelligence and automation, improving energy distribution efficiency and reliability, implementing demand side management. This encourages consumers to adopt energy saving habits such as reducing private vehicle use, opting for energy efficient appliances, optimizing residential energy use, and minimizing material consumption. These behavior and lifestyle changes could deliver up to 10% emission reduction by 2050 compared to as a BAS, which is a scenario, and elevating pressure on land resources while achieving net zero targets. So at COP26, India announced several ambitious climate goals, including increasing the non-fossil energy capacity. Now we have a lot of water because of this kind of water which is coming into India. Let's use it and deploy the tech. Use a Japanese technology, meeting 50% of the energy needs to renewable energy, reducing economic carbon intensity, um, and carbon capacity to 500 gigawatt by 2030, meeting 50% of the energy needs through renewable energy, reducing economic carbon intensity by 45%, lowering total carbon emissions by 1 billion tons, and achieving net zero emission by 2070. So there's something called as Council of Energy, Environment and Water, and the Alliance of an Energy Efficient Economy, that's AEEE. There's ABC in China, so look into that. India is on track to exceed its 2030 NDC target for emission intensity reduction, potentially achieving 48 to 57 decrease compared to 2005 levels. However, achieving net zero by 2070 will require further policy intervention as carbon pricing and energy efficiency initiatives. Thank you for watching out the video. If you have any questions, I'll put it into an article format, and I think we have this control this year. Thank you for watching out the video. Have a great day ahead.